What is mass receiving? Mass receiving is the ability to take care of a large number of evacuees. Before, during, or after a major disaster, wide-scale evacuations in the Northeast could potentially bring a large number of evacuees to western Massachusetts. Evacuees would need access to food, shelter, and other resources. The purpose of the Mass Receiving Project is to improve the region's capacity to accommodate those resource needs. How many evacuees might arrive in our region during an evacuation? 37 million people live within a 3-hour drive of western Massachusetts, including the metro areas of New York City, Boston, and Philadelphia. While most evacuees would likely seek shelter with friends or relatives, recent studies have found that about 20% of evacuees would look for accommodation in hotels or emergency shelters, and a little over half of these would seek shelter in rural areas like ours. Based on these studies, and taking into account the population within a 3-hour drive of western Massachusetts, the project found that up to 224,000 evacuees could be expected in our region. What is the capacity of our region for sheltering evacuees? The project looked at the capacity of hotel and motels, seasonal homes, campgrounds, and regional emergency shelters to determine how many evacuees could be accommodated in our region. An estimated 81,000 people could potentially be provided with some kind of emergency shelter. This leaves a gap of 143,000 between the maximum number we could shelter and the number of evacuees our region could potentially receive. What are the project's next steps? The preferred method for addressing the region's shelter capacity gap is to emphasize the provision of short-term, immediate services for evacuees rather than long-term sheltering. Towards this end, the current project phase is identifying existing resources that could be used as evacuation service centers, facilities that would provide gasoline, food, and other temporary resources to aid evacuees traveling through western Massachusetts. Future phases of the project will examine the logistics and potential locations of tent cities, which could be set up to provide shelter for thousands of evacuees, and analysis of specific evacuation scenarios resulting from various disasters to determine more precisely the estimated number of evacuees and their needs. For more information on the Mass Receiving Project, please visit one of the Western Region Homeland Security Advisory Council websites.